This year, origin stories have been all the rage. Similarly, the anti-origin story movement, or more precisely, the conservative drive to exclude any history teachings dealing with slavery and other portions of American history, has also been in the headlines. Between the two, it seems like the ideal opportunity to study the roots of one of the Christmas tunes that has become ubiquitous at this time of year, providing the music for many family gatherings this Christmas season as it has for many generations. For instance, did you know that the man who penned 1857's Jingle Bells, James Pierpont, grew up to be an ardent secessionist and Confederate soldier, and that the first live performance of Jingle Bells may have been given by a white performer dressed in blackface? Also, because Pierpont's nephew was J.P. Morgan, he is partially responsible for your checking account late fees. Contrast that with Ohio's Benjamin Hamby, another descendant of abolitionists who participated in the Underground Railroad alongside his family and authored Up on the Housetop in 1864. Finally, there is O Holy Night. What has become a Christmas staple was written by an atheist French winemaker, set to music by a Jewish Frenchman, and translated into English by an American abolitionist. It was briefly outlawed in France before becoming a popular anti-slavery song in the United States during the 1850s. The story begins in 1843 or 1847, although the year is disputed, at Roquemort, a small hamlet in the Rhone River region. Placide Cappeau, who followed in his father's footsteps into the wine industry, was also well known for his poetry. Though a critic of the Catholic Church, Cappeau was commissioned by the local priest to write a few stanzas in honor of the freshly restored organ in the town cathedral. He is reported to have penned the song's lyrics while en route to Paris on business, drawing inspiration from the biblical Gospel of Luke. Cappeau took his completed work, then titled Minuit, Chrétiens or Midnight, Christians to Adolphe Adams, a composer of some reputation, on the suggestion of the same pastor who commissioned him. Adams, who was of French-Jewish ancestry, orchestrated the music, and the song was renamed Noël Cantique. The hymn would make its international premiere, with opera soprano Emily Laurie singing the words, at the Roquemort Church's Christmas Eve midnight mass. Nevertheless, while Cantique de Noël immediately became a popular French Christmas song, it was eventually condemned by the French Catholic Church as a result of Cappeau's conversion to atheism and socialism, as well as the finding that Adams was Jewish, not Christian. According to reports, one bishop condemned the song as having a musical taste and a complete lack of religious spirit. Additionally, there was some opposition to Cappeau's strongly anti-slavery lyrics in the third verse, which were likely accentuated by his emerging political outspokenness. In any event, the prohibition reflects the French Catholic Church's position on abolition. It's important noting here that France was still taking black people from Africa as part of the transatlantic slave trade during this century, though the practice was finally abolished in 1848. By that time, an estimated 1.4 million people had been captured, transported to France's conquered territories, including, but not limited to, Guadeloupe, Martinique, and, most notably, Saint-Domingue, or Haiti, and enslaved in apparently harsh, and usually murderous, conditions. Indeed, France is the only country to have abolished slavery in 1794, following a defeat to black Haitian fighters, only to reintroduce it in 1802, courtesy of Napoleon. That is the end of liberty, equality, and fraternité. Regardless, Cantique de Noël would eventually find its way across the Atlantic to John Sullivan Dwight, a white American abolitionist, Unitarian pastor, pianist, and classical music enthusiast who produced Dwight's Journal of Music. Dwight translated Cappeau's lyrics in 1855, paying special attention to the third verse. The following is a reasonably direct translation from the French. Every impediment has been surmounted by the Redeemer. The earth is unencumbered, and heaven is unlocked. He perceives a sibling when previously only a slave existed. Love joins people who have been imprisoned by iron. Who will convey our thankfulness to him? For the benefit of all. He is conceived. He suffers and eventually dies. Dwight converted these words in this manner in order to retain the poetics while retaining the original meaning. Indeed, he taught us to love our neighbors. His law is based on love, and his gospel is based on peace. He will break the chains, for the slave is our brother. And all persecution shall stop in his name. We are raised by sweet anthems of delight in a grateful chorus. Allow everything within us to glorify his holy name. When Dwight published his translated verse in 1855 in his music periodical, he titled it O Holy Night. It appears to have been a success in the United States, garnering favor among abolitionists during the Civil War. Even though the song was being prohibited in its homeland, it was becoming a Christmas standard and a protest song thousands of miles away in the United States. It has long been incorporated into the larger American Christmas songbook. Additionally, it was a part of radio history. On Christmas Eve 1906, Reginald Fessenden, an inventor who collaborated with Thomas Edison, is reported to have performed O Holy Night during the world's first radio broadcast featuring music and voice. Additionally, there is a narrative, sometimes reported about the Franco-Prussian War of 1870 and sometimes about the Great War, about German and French troops leaving their trenches to sing O Holy Night in an impromptu Christmas ceasefire. That is very certainly mythical, but the song was unquestionably revolutionary for its period, from beginning to end. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.